Okay. So this is a report that was generated by GetGloby per our request. And it could be divided essentially into 5 parts. Something that they call growth drivers. So they wanted us to understand what will drive growth to our YouTube page. Discovery strategies, uh, retention strategies. They're
Why
different.
Why did you write this over here if it's already here?
It's okay. No, I wrote it there for myself. How to build a fan base, and then essentially how to manage a bilingual channel, which is a uniqueness to us as well. We have made some of these adjustments, but we have not done all the adjustments yet. That is currently underway, and it will actually come to fruition with you. Understanding this report, which is very dense, is essential to being able to help us move forward. So, first, they did ask us a bunch of questions, which we've answered. You know all these answers, so I'm not going to delve into some of these slides because you know them. But they asked us, what's Minivela, what's our strategy, and what's the audience that we're seeking. Obviously, 18 to 34 is a sweet spot. 18 to 45 is the broader target. Okay. And so they looked at our channel in depth. And there are a couple questions, by the way, that I have as a follow up with them that I don't understand what they said. So I have a couple of follow up questions. But here's what they realized, right? So we told them, listen, we have an aggressive growth plan that we'd like to execute. First thing they said is stop the advertising, stop. And we said, why? They said because it doesn't count towards your total views.
This is very distracting for people like trying to figure out.
No, I have one without that. I'm showing you my notes. So they said stop it. Don't put more dollars until we have a time of examining the organic response people have to your content. Once you optimize it with the recommendations we give you, and we have a little bit of time to study it, then you might proceed to use a proper pay strategy. But right now, without having done all those adjustments, you're wasting money because you have not had a fully optimized channel. So that is a key mission of the next week or so, is to optimize the channel to do that. Now, they looked at our channels. They said, listen, you only have, from your total views that you've generated, only 7.5 thousand or 2.7% is coming from Holly Shores. Can you guys stop? Stop making the noise! Then they also looked at our total watch time. And this is one of the places where I didn't understand. I'm like, but we have almost 5,000 watch hours, right? We would have blown that number, right? That we need to reach 3,000. We would have reached it. They say, yeah, but you were paying for it. And Facebook is only, YouTube is only looking at 107 of those as being eligible for the YouTube partner program. That's what YPP stands for. So they clobbered us on that. So we stopped all payment. Then the unique viewers, returning viewers, only coming back 3.1% of the time. Again, this is a brand new channel. But it's been growing very slowly. Part of it is because it wasn't fully made for the fully optimized YouTube. So now that we're going to optimize with strategies they're recommending, even in this document, it should be different. And the average duration of viewership is 1 minute and 3 minutes. That seems bad to me, but I'm going to ask. I have to ask them about that. So that's why there's a question mark on that. The main traffic source, notice 97% of our traffic was coming from advertising. So YouTube's algorithm likes for a lot more of our traffic source to come from our own views, our own generated traffic, etc. Then they found this to be very curious. Wow, 62% is coming from Puerto Rico. What the heck, right? However, there's a breakdown here in the bottom of this page that's not clear to me. I don't understand it. So I'm asking them for a deeper understanding of why they have. Well, it shows that geographically, 62% of our views are coming from Puerto Rico and 35 from the United States. That would seem to make sense.
That's correct.
And then 57% of our views are male, 42% female. Probably because Aidita is
Exactly.
pretty good looking and she attracts men. However, when a woman relates to your video and they find it highly shareable because it's relatable and it's a problem, it's a girl problem, it's something that they want their boyfriends and their husbands to find out, we have different insights that show that your audience could be majority female. But that's not necessarily a terrible split, given that we hadn't done that as deliberately as we're about to do now.
Right.
Now, they are recommending that we go real hard on YouTube Shorts, that we generate a lot more shorts, that we spend a lot more time mastering what a good YouTube Shorts looks like. And that we start to also get our own friends and family. They're just like, guys, you have enough people within your people that if you're just reaching out to your friends and family, we don't know why you guys can't have at least 1,000 followers easily. Because they know that they asked us how many people you have in your staff or whatever.
The thing is, some people are like, oh, they see the content, it's all in Spanish.
They're like, listen, you're Latinos, there's no way that you can't get that. So they don't understand that. They said that that's something that we should pressure our own team to do. All right. So now they did a screenshot, right? Views and retention by traffic source. Again, 97% of our web traffic coming from advertisements. And I don't know what APV stands for. I guess it stands for average per view. Yeah, there we go. So 60% of our average per view is of 1 minute and 8 seconds long. 0.01% views are coming from what is called YouTube suggestions. That's actually a sweet spot. Yeah. That's actually that's a sweet spot. If we get into more and more of those suggestions, that is really, really good. And then I don't know why, but I guess when it does come from an average YouTube suggestion, I guess they're saying here that then our average view duration goes up, is significantly higher. It's 27%. So we got to ask him about that one part right there. That's a really good insight question. I'm going to highlight it here. I'm going to highlight that here. Okay. So then they said, okay, let's zoom in on what it's organic, right? And the brand keywords that they find are resonating the most for people finding us is the word Minivela TV, Aidita, but this is not that many, okay? So it's not like super like, oh my God, this is the end of the earth. The word robot, novia robot, mujer robot, Silicon Valley robot, robot wife, but it's not that many. So it's not like we have that much data to say, okay, here's some strong insights that we have about our search traffic. This is just very preliminary because the channel is brand new. First major piece of advice, they said silent launch first, no paid ads. They said you must share this with people. This is big. Share this with people within your reach that match.
I'm trying to write and she sits on where I'm writing.
Ginger, you're being a bad gata mama. Share this with people that match your target audience and watch similar content. That is the ultimate sweet spot for the 1,000 subscribers. Why? Because they are the ones that are likely to help the channel blow up. The first 1,000, if you can target it to your audience and they watch similar content because they're like, oh, a mí me encanta la novela, oh, I love to watch YouTube, whatever. That is magic dust. It's not just a subscriber, but a highly potentially engaging one. Then promote. Here's the second one. That's a great tactic. The second one is unrelated to the first one. promote with selected influencers like a Red, like others that are doing these type of skits, or cross-channel promotion. Do a promotion with another channel on YouTube. So influencers and cross-channel promotion are not the same thing, because selected influencers could be on another platform, but they're key people. Cross-channel is on YouTube or is on another platform promotion to this. But again,
look at, she's like totally doesn't want me to work.
okay, you're being a freca cat. Now listen to what it says. And Angela, please focus. Listen to what they're saying here. We want to feed the algorithm with real engagement data. In other words, no advertising, in order to expand YouTube's suggestions traffic. They're saying it is key. It is key that YouTube is suggesting you guys for traffic. And they say, please be very conservative with your projections. Channel growth usually takes an exponential, depends on the user base similarity and promotion strategies. Notice the goal that they said there. Your user base that you're recruiting, if they're in that sweet spot and you have a good promotion strategy, that's how you make a channel grow a lot. All right, I'm going to take a pause a second. We're going to continue. Hold on. Let me pause it.
Can we continue? Like,
All right, so I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is big time, get to 1,000 subscribers internally. They said, absolutely, you guys should hit this internally. All right. Second piece of advice, use different and highly engaging thumbnails. This is a thumbnail to engage people. So they felt that our thumbnails were okay. They asked us to continue iterating. One of the decisions we've made is that those that are in English are going to have a different color than the ones that are in Spanish to make them easier on a psychological perspective. Now, one thing you should know about YouTube, you should never, ever, ever, ever post a video on YouTube and not have an end card at the end. Have you ever seen it where it says, oh, if you like this video, check this one out or that one out? Mm-hmm. That is mandatory. And in fact, they say that it should be mandatory to the point where all of your videos, end cards, which are not changing the video, the end card is like it's automatically generated. Your end cards should always go on any given week. They should be changed, all of them, every single one of them, ideally, to the latest video that you're promoting. So for example, every video other than the one that you're posting should point to the brand new one that you just posted. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's very easy to generate. YouTube makes it easy for that to happen. So optimize the thumbnail quality. Make sure that you have a vertical version of some of these. We have to now ask them what they meant by that, because we're not clear. And always review that there's no blanks in this. Because what happens is, if YouTube does not see that you did that, they just point you to related content that has nothing to do with your channel. So they actually point your viewers out of your own freaking channel. Okay?
What causes the blank?
If you didn't
select it.
A lot of people don't do it. We've never done it. We didn't do it. We've never done it. We now began to do it with a few. We're supposed to do it on Nuestra Stories. We're supposed to do it on ours.
So you have to go manually do all of them?
Yep. And that's a pain. But that's the way to do it. But it's very cut and paste. It's something that we will have to hire a virtual assistant in the near future to do. All right. I've moved on. Now, tactics under consideration, pros and cons. Okay? So, should you cross-promote? Crucial for organic growth and credibility. No, there's no cons on it. Should you buy an existing YouTube channel, say the food blogger that we talked about, to try to get more subscribers? What's the pro? Well, you get immediate access. They have a lot of followers to their monetization platform, but the channel might have some residual authority or discoverability benefits, such as La Coquette. Okay. However, the con is that an inactive account like the one of La Coquette, which has been out for years, could be effectively dead, even though it has 1 point something million fans. So building the Minivela brand on a repurposed channel can be confusing also for people. It may not give you the best type of audience as well. So you're gonna buy a channel, you gotta make sure it's engaged and relevant. Highly, highly relevant. Not just to the audience, but the people what they normally would consume from there. Then the third tactic. What about content as a driver of licensed content, meaning working with Me Too or somebody else so that they could find Minivelas on their channels because they have a big following?
That's how we could work with them.
Well, look what they said. They said, well, it could be if the show performs well elsewhere, it might attract viewers to your channel. And can it be reproduced? It can be repurposed easily for YouTube Shorts feed. I don't know what they mean by that. However, here's what they said. It doesn't necessarily build Minivela's unique IP. So it takes away from people having to go to your IP to discover the content. Because now it makes it so widely available that it kind of could help disperse your audience that you're fighting for. What about paid media? Well, they said, well, it's good to drive awareness faster than organic discovery. So it's great as an awareness play. It's terrible from the perspective of you're spending money and it doesn't really increase your subscriber base organically. It does it artificially with no retention and can hurt the channel. All right, what about cross promotion? Recommendation. This is what they recommendation. Focus on channels, meaning YouTube channels, that share an audience overlap and content synergy. Listen to the crazy thing they just said. A partner with fewer subscribers but highly engaged, relevant audience is more valuable than a monster channel with no audience alignment. So define what is your ideal partner profile on YouTube that you would love to be aligned with. Who are they? Obviously, Me Too would be one of those in that sense. Buy an existing channel, move subscriber base. They strongly advise against this. So they advise against buying the Coquette. The risk, particularly the audience mismatch and dormancy of an audience has not been tapped, far outweigh the dubious benefit of an old, irrelevant subscriber count. Starting fresh ensures you build a relevant, engaged audience from day one. If you still want to move forward, don't focus on subscriber count. Listen to this. Focus on recent active audience metric, unique viewers, and percentage of the audience that matches your audience. That's a key thing. They said, listen, if you partner with a subscriber base that has 1,000 actively engaged followers, it has infinitely more value if those are of the right audience than one that has millions. Now, what about content as a license, as a driver of licensing content to others? Could be considered as a supplementary tactic. If your licensed shorts are high quality, thematically aligned with Minivela, but it should not replace the core strategy of building Minivela. It should not be seen as like you're trying to get distribution in other channels because you're replacing your own tactic. No, your channel has to matter first and foremost. And then finally, the paid media, their ultimate Supreme Court decision. Focus beyond just views and subscribers. They say track engagement, meaning the view-through rates, the click-through rates, the cost per view, and crucially, how are you lowering your cost per subscriber? Monitor the post-engagement subscription, so people watching the content, sticking around, and making actually even comments. So focus on the quality of the engagement rather than other parts. All right, now here we go. This is what they say is the path. And today we're going to break it up into two. So we're going to finish after this part and do a part 2 of this because this is long. Okay, I mean not that this is long, but I don't think we should go on.
I'm falling asleep.
All right, this is the last part. The path to subscriber growth. Here's what they said. First, critical that you be discoverable and you have a good creative strategy. Second, your programming strategy for retention. How are you going to keep those people highly engaged and retained? And third, how do you build an identity and a community? So you got to go from people just viewing you to viewing you more to subscribing to becoming a fan. That's the path that what they're going to describe now. All right. So SEO, discoverability, and creative strategy. Deep keyword search for titles, descriptions, and tags in both English and Spanish. Think about what users would search to find this content. So really, really think as you're creating content, what should be the title, the descriptions, and the tags that you create in Spanish and English. Be very, very, very thoughtful of that so that when people are searching on an SEO perspective for content, you're aligned with that, with what you are producing. Second, YouTube short strategy. Here they go back to it. Create compelling shorts by clipping the most dramatic, interesting moment from the full chapters. This is crucial for discoverability. Ensure the shorts have a clear call to action to watch the full episode. So you got to get them really hard. So start with micro narratives. So YouTube shorts are micro narratives. That means that they're shorter than the other things they do. Leverage trending audio. Oh, here's a big one. Leverage trending audio that match main series tone. Do you get that part? So now YouTube is paying attention to what is audio that's out there that they're licensing that might match your tone, because trending audio on TikTok and Instagram is one of the ways that a lot of people develop videos against it. And then that becomes a way that trending stuff on the audio side can impact people viewing something. Same thing applies now to YouTube. And then optimize visual hooks, listen to this, in the first seconds with a call to action. Explicitly promote the full chapter. Finally, thumbnails. Absolutely critical. Invest in high quality, intriguing, consistent thumbnails that stand out. And be sure to do, they said, you're doing a good job. Keep optimizing and A/B testing different styles to see which one sticks. Okay. Programming the strategy for retention. I think we should take a break. We are now at the halfway point. Actually, let me finish this one, and then we'll go to the final thing. Yeah, there we go. So there's 2 more slides, and then we'll take a pause. So, programming strategy for retention, content optimization. Are the full chapters optimized for YouTube? Meaning, strong hooks in the first 15 to 30 seconds, good pacing, a mid-roll call to action, meaning you're seeing the thing and then all of a sudden you have a call to action. Make sure you go see the rest of the thing and then you continue. Engaging end screens, or end cards, prompting subscriptions or the next video. They're not the same thing. Prompting subscriptions, subscribe here, don't forget, and see the next video. They're 2 different call to actions. You should do both. Are we focusing in short form for discovery first? Are we using the short form for discovery? And then finally, start with short formats. As the audience show interest, increase content duration. So start with shorter versions of content, and then as they show interest in that, then you can make them longer. Call to actions, here we go. Integrate clear verbal and visuals call to actions within the video, asking viewers to subscribe and explaining the benefits. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter.
Does it all the time. Like those
Everybody does it, bro. We haven't been doing it. And I always thought it was like, why are they so redundant? And of course we're already there. But it's because people are not so obvious. And then finally, analytics deep dive. Regularly review your YouTube analytics, focusing on what's my audience retention, Are viewers dropping off? What are the traffic sources? Where's the growth coming from? And demographics. Is the audience aligning with your expectation? So that's the three things that your analytics deep dive should always be answering when you go into the back office. Are they doing those three things? And then the final thing for part one of the lessons, identity and community. Channel page optimization. Ensure the channel banner, that's that top thing, description and layout are professional and clearly communicate what Minivela is about. Use the best quality images in the banner or thumbnails. Organize playlists as sections effectively. We've been working on that. Community engagement. Keep the audience warm and engaged between chapter releases. Build a fandom. For example, post polls. You remember that thing that I told you at the end? Mm-hmm. Post polls about characters, plot lines. Ask open-ended questions related to the stories. Share behind-the-scenes photos or text updates. Tease upcoming content. Promote shorts, live streams, and premieres. We got to do it tomorrow for Cholita. And I got to ask him, but how in the context of YouTube more? And then finally, and this is the final for today, incorporate engaging formats. IG, live streams. Build community, foster real-time interaction, and create anticipation. Ideas. Host Q&As with creators, actors, discussions about themes explored in the series, premiere watch parties with live chat engagement, fan theory discussion. That's for longer
Is that what y'all did today, the recording?
We did something like that, but I think we should have done it as a live stream. But today we just did it as a pre-record because the thing is that Johnny's out on Monday, and so are other people. So Monday doesn't work for anybody. We had to do it today.
Okay, bye.
So with that, we are at the halfway point of the training,
Look at this.
and we're going
I
to
need some water. I need to
stop.
take all the stuff.
This is part one of
Why,
two.
baby? Because my little baby wants to be cuddling.